Okay, is anybody there? Yeah, I see you. Hello my dear friends, my name is Paul and I'm at the radio. Call sign is Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango. Many of you who are watching my YouTube channel, you know that I'm very often using this Xiegu X6100 radio, which is an ultra portable radio from a very interesting generation of the radios from Xiegu. The first radio I had, which was the first generation, was the Xiegu 5105. It was just a 5-watt radio, even with an external battery. This one, 6100, is also a 5-watt radio, but is extendable to 10 watts with an external power supply. Today I'm going to talk about the 6200 radio, and in today's video I will show you the main differences between the 6100 and 6200. Why I call it like an ultra portable radios. Actually, all external equipment what you normally take with you when you go portable are external microphone, external battery, possibly even the automatic tuner. All these three equipments you have already built in just one radio, so you can freely use this radio as a walkie-talkie style. So you just plug in some kind of antenna, whip antenna or so, and you go working SOTA, standing, walking around, and you can work a shortwave station in miles and miles away from you. This is the most interesting on this kind of radios, guys. Well, today I'm going to show you and explain actually the main differences between those radios, and of course I will explain to you some features in this radio, and of course I would like to test this radio in real conditions with this external antenna, the magnetic loop. And I hope that I will be so lucky today I will get some contacts here on this radio and on the band. So keep watching and let's go. Okay, the Xiegu 6200 comes in this grey cardboard box. And let me open the box and show you what is inside. So we have some protection packaging, and here we can see the English written Xiegu manual. You can see also some drawings there, completely in English, so it's pretty easy to find the features and explanations. Here we can see the USB and C connector. It is right here. So this is not for charging, this is only for the data. Next we have a charger. This is an American version, because this is actually the pre-production model. So here we can see the 12 volts and 1 ampere power supply, which is for charging the battery. Next we have the power cord. The external power supply can be connected here and plugged into the radio. Then we have the microphone. As you can see, it is a different microphone as it was on the 6100. And I feel that it is heavier than the first version of the microphone. And the microphone cable, you can see it. And here you can see the model. And finally, we have here the external battery. And this is actually the biggest difference between the 6100 and 6200. Even with these 5105, all those previous radios has only fixed internally a battery which was not removable, replaceable. So this is replaceable battery. Finally, this thing is very practical, so you can take, or you can buy actually 2 or 3 batteries. They are pretty lightweight and small, so you can take these batteries anywhere you go. Put it in the pocket and use whenever you want. So this battery, as you can see here, is 3200 milliamp hour battery for 7.6 volts. So I presume that the nominal voltage will be 8.1 volt when the battery is fully charged. So this is the very good point that the Xiegu start making the radios with external rechargeable batteries which you can replace whenever you want. And finally, here we can see this new model of the Xiegu radios. This is the Xiegu 6200. You can see here the handles. So these handles protects these all buttons and knobs on front of this radio. And here on the back side there is the place for this external battery. So the very first thing is to attach this external battery into this radio. First side what you have to put inside the radio is this without the contacts. So just put this side into the radio and click on the other side here. Push the side and the battery is on place. It is actually very simple. Here on the sides, on the back side of the radio, you can also find these metallic legs on one side and also on the other side. So you can place the radio on the desk and watching on it from the angle. Well, all the peripherals you can connect here to the right side of this radio. Here you can see the SD card or micro SD card slot, and you can record yourself and then giving the CQs. Here this USB-C socket can be used for serial connection to your computer and running some external software. And the host socket connector is or can be used for external keyboard or the mouse, and with those peripherals you can control this radio externally. Here is the socket for the speakerphone or the phones, the CW key and the accessories. So this is also the serial connection, but it is used the jack 3.5 millimeter. And also this is the socket for the external microphone. The left side of this radio contains only 2 sockets. The first one is the BNC female socket for an external antenna, and the socket for the DC power supply, and it can be used within the 9 and 15 volts. It is very important to say that if you are willing to buy some external power supply, you need 3.5 amp a power supply and 12 volts or possibly 13.8 volts, but 3.5 amp, it is quite enough to power this radio in its full power. It is also good to mention that this radio has an internal battery, so if you wish to charge this internal battery with your external power supply, not included the charger, you need to use the power supply which has a minimum 12 volts, maximum 15 volts. If the voltage drops down under 12 volts, this power supply will never charge your internal battery. I found two back doors on this radio. One is on the bottom and the second one is on top right here. I didn't find a purpose of these back doors on the bottom of the radio, but here on top this back doors is prepared as an expansion for the GPS module or the positioning module. On top of this radio we can find two groups of the buttons. On the left group of the button you can find the larger, the PTT button, which is made of the plastic, and all the buttons are backlighted. Then we can see here the band buttons and the modulation buttons. This is like in a previous version, just the difference is that these buttons are made of plastic. The previous versions were made of the rubber or the silicone. The group of the button on the right side contains these three buttons. This one is for the VFO selection between the VFO-A and VFO-B. The second one is the automatic antenna tuner, and the fast button on the right side is for 1 kHz step tuning selection, so it is for fast tuning. Long press of the fast, you will lock the VFO knob and will lock also the all other buttons. Long press of the ATU, you will turn on the automatic tuner and will tune external antenna. Long press of the AB button, you will equal the VFO-E and VFO-B frequencies. And finally, this front panel of the radio contains on the left side this group of the buttons with the power button and long press of the power button. Actually, you need to wait, a couple of seconds until you start up your radio. Then we can see here these 6 buttons. This is for general settings, and here you will see the general settings of this radio. If you push the APP button, you will load these applications or the features, additional features of this radio. With the key button you can see the settings for the tapper, and MSG button you can edit these recordings. DFN button means these noise reduction settings, noise blanker settings, or noise blanker another additional settings. And DFL means the filter settings. So here you can play with filtering if you have some troubles on the band. And on the right side we can find this tuning knob, which is rubbery knob, and it has a pretty good feeling with the hole for your finger. Here you can see also the place for the speaker, and here under the tuning knob this little hole is for the microphone, and therefore you can use this transceiver as a walkie-talkie because you have the PTT button and the built-in microphone as well in one radio, so you don't need to connect an external microphone. Very positive upgrade the manufacturer did on this radio is this multifunction knob, which is divided into an inner cycle and outer cycle. So you can actually see that this knob is divided to the inner cycle, which is one knob, and outer cycle, which is the second knob, and at the same time you can use it as a button if you press this knob downwards. Perfect. And don't be fooled by appearance of this very nice button on top, which is the multifunction knob as well, used for the volume, squelch and RF gain. This button is not divided, it just looks like divided. So this is just the one function knob, and also can be used as a button. If you push this knob, then you actually select these three features which you can want to adjust. So this is the squelch, this is the RF gain, and this is the volume. Simple. And under the screen you can see 5 multifunction buttons, and their features or function depends on the menu which you have open on the radio. So if you open the general setting menu, you will see these features. If you open the application menu, you can see the different features. If you open the key settings, you can also see different features or settings. That's why those 5 buttons names multi-function buttons. And finally, what is actually new on the 6200 if you compare it with a previous version, the 6100? As you can see, the size is almost the same. You can see that the height of both radios is the same. Also, thickness of both radios is almost the same. Maybe 6200 is slightly thicker, maybe 1 millimeter, but nothing special. As you can see that the 6200 is slightly wider than 6100. 6200 is wider than 6100. It is maybe 10 millimeter, maybe 1 centimeter wider than the previous version. The knobs on the previous version were made of the silicone and they are rubbery. The knobs on the new version are made of plastic, and both knobs are backlighted. The difference between these rubbery knobs and backlight is that they are shining all around them, and also the layout of the knobs. But on the knobs made of plastic, you don't see any backlight all around them, just the layout is shining or is backlighted. The features on the left side of these knobs groups are the same, so also they have the PTT button, also they have the modulation knobs and the band knobs also right there. On the right side you can see a difference because on the previous version you can see 6 rubbery buttons. On the new version you can see only 3 plastic buttons, but there is added this expansion for the GPS module. Another difference is in the knobs. As you can see here on the previous version, the knobs were very simple, just the knobs with the button feature. But on the new knobs you can see a new appearance of the knobs, and also, as we mentioned before, there is a double knob feature, and the knob is divided to 2 features. This feature was missing on the previous version, as you can see here. A big improvement has been done on these legs on the back side. As you can see on the previous version, this leg is wobbling. It's not so stable as on a new version of the 6200. And also the angle between the radio and the leg is 90 degrees instead of this one. And also securing is much better than this one. And also, as you can see, these 2 handles has been added into the model 6200, which were missing on the previous version. These 2 handles protects these knobs on front of the radio also protects the screen, especially when you're carrying this radio in the bag. There is also nice improvement in construction itself, and this plastic frame on the sides of the radios. As you can see that the frame made of plastic on the new 6200 is much more sturdy and also better looking than on the previous version of the 6100. This plastic frame is maybe weaker than the new one, and also it looks more cheaply than the new one. A small difference we can find also on the speaker appearance. As you can see that in the new model 6200 has been added this speaker cover made of plastic, which was missing on the 6100 previous version. But same size of the speaker is on both radios. I also noticed that on the left side of the new radio 6200 is missing the IQ output, which was present on the previous version. So I'm not sure if the IQ output is currently included in the host connector or dev connector. I'm not sure that, so I don't know this information. And finally, one of the biggest changes on this new 6200 is this external removable battery pack, which can be replaced anytime you wish. So you can also take this battery pack with you on SOTA point. You can buy 1, 2, maybe 3 pieces of this battery and you can work for hours from the SOTA. So this was not possible with a previous model of the 6100. You had to open the back cover of the radio, lost your warranty, and also there is some soldering job needed to do this replacement. So definitely this improvement is one of the best improvements on the 6200 by my opinion. So you no more need to carry another heavy batteries with the wires and so on. You just take this battery with you in the pocket. So it is really good thing and improvement. The only one thing what disappoints me on this new model 6200 is the maximum power when the external power supply is connected to the radio. As you can see that the maximum power is only 8 watts. There is no more 10 watts on the like on the previous version on the 6100. So I have no idea why Xiegu decided for this option only 8 watts. Then maybe there is some hardware reason or something, but it is actually less than 10 watts on the previous version of the 6100. I believe that there is not a really big or significant difference between 8 watts and 10 watts on the final. So maybe is it not so bad, but still 8 watts instead of 10 watts. So downside of this improvement. And another good thing on the 6200 is that they finally improved the firmware in the radio, and currently you can change the color of these values in the icons for the power and for the volume. So you have to go to the menu and then you will find here the parameter of color, which you can change between white, yellow, red, green, and again white. So finally this is the new improvement of this radio. As you can see, I changed these values to green. Excellent. I have also noticed the difference in the screen brightness between both radios. I found that the brightness on the screen of the new radio 6200 is much better than the brightness on the 6100. Both radios were set to 10, level 10 on the brightness, and on my bare eyes I can clearly see the difference in the brightness. I'm not sure if you see the difference on the camera, but on the bare eyes it is visible. In the new firmware of the 6200 we can find difference in the font used on the numbers. As you can see here and here, it is bold font, and also we can turn on or turn off this little screen or the audio spectrum scope, which cannot be turned off on the 6100. Also, there have been added this frequency spectrum table or something like that, and this tells you in what portion of the band are you currently located, and this table is divided to many colors, and well, I'm not still pretty sure which colors means what. I didn't find this information yet in the radio manual. I found also some new features in the display settings, and here we can see this parameter color option, which can be finally changed in this firmware. Also we can see that we can change the screen and the waterfall ratio, and we can see the scope grid option, scope style option. We can see also the waterfall style, we can change it, and I think these other things was there also. We can look on the previous model. If we go to this display settings, as you can see, we can find here just a couple of options, and look here, these options were added. If we go to this parameter color and change the color to white, you see that all these options will change to white. So if you look on this grid and if you look on this grid, you see that this red color is really barely visible. It's much better here on when it's white. And if we go to the system settings, we can find here a new option. You can change the language, which is not here in the previous version of the 6100. Cool. And also another feature what I found in this radio is when you go to the app menu, you can find the FT8 decoder, which has not been on the previous version, right beside the voice call. So the FT8 decoder, if you press the FT8 decoder, this window will appear on the screen, and when the antenna will be connected, you will see the contacts. Of course, it is very important to set correct time when you want to decode the signals. And this is the FT8 decoder in action. I just set the time in the settings and tuned my antenna on 20 meters, frequency 14074. And as you can see that the FT8 decoder works pretty well. As you can see how many stations I can get and decode with this transceiver. This is fantastic, great. And here is another very interesting feature. So if you go to the application mode, you can go to the modem feature right there, and here you can see decoder and a CW decoder. Or this radio has BPSK decoder and also RTTY decoder. I didn't try this feature yet, so I'm not sure if it decodes properly or not, but as you can see, it is there in this new firmware. Okay friends, so now I'm going to measure the power consumption of this radio. Currently I set the radio on receive. Audio level is on max, but currently is set to mute. So there is no audio, it is full backlight set to level 10, audio set to level 100, and a voltage is set to 12 volts. So as you can see on full light or full backlight, you can see its power consumption 0.54, which is 540 milliamp. If I open the squelch and I will turn the audio to full, let me see what is the power consumption then. So it is 0.65. So 650 milliamp is received with full backlight and full audio on this radio, currently on FM mode and 160 meter band. And now another scenario, I set the audio level to, as you see, the RF gain on 100, volume is set on 30, and squelch on 2, so there is no audio currently in FM mode on 160, and the backlight is currently set on 3. This scenario I use very often in my radios, and this is my optimal settings on this radio. As you can see, the power consumption here is 470 milliamp. So this is the standard current consumption of this radio on receive. I will open the audio and what is the power consumption now. So you can see that audio level 30, it's 470 milliamp. And FM mode, so it doesn't matter if this audio is turned on or off, it's still the same. If I turn the radio into the single sideband mode, you see that the power consumption is still the same. So it doesn't matter if you use the radio in FM or in SSB. If I turn in AM, also the same, 460, 470 milliamp. And my next test will be, I'm going to test output power into this dummy load, which is connected to a digital SWR power meter. I have currently set the radio to 5 watts. I'm in the FM mode, and I'm going to change and switch the bands from 160 up to 6 meter band. So the modulation FM, power set to 5 watts. Top line on the SWR meter is the output power. 160, 5.5 watts. And the next step will be sensitivity test. Here you can see on this table the S points unit converted to the dBm units. On the left side you can see the S units, and on the right side you can see the dBm units. So the dBm units you can see also here on the signal generator I have. So minus 73 dBm means unit S9, like as you can see here in the table. So minus 73 is S9. I'm going to increase this number, which means that I will decrease the S units. So let me open the squelch on the radio, and we'll hear the audio signal. It will be the beat signal, as the generator is set to 201 and receiver is set to 200. So it's going to be 1 kilohertz audio signal. The transceiver is set to the upper side band. The preamp is on. Filter is set to 1.5 kilohertz. And AGC is turned off. RF gain is set to 100. So let's do the test. Okay, level 50 on the volume and 1 kHz signal. Now I'm going to decrease the signal. I'm going to 115. 115, which represents the S2 unit. As you can see, we can clearly hear the S2 unit signal. So 121 minus dBm represents S1 signal. We can still clearly hear the signal. And let's go even lower or further. There is more noise, but signal is still there. We are under S1. Okay, 132 is the minimum what I can get from this device. So this is the minimum signal, far below S1, and we can still hear the signal here. Okay, so I think that the sensitivity on this receiver is pretty good. Just the one thing what I found, that when I turn the signal to S9, which is minus 73 dB, the S meter is not precise. As you can see now, I'm on the minus 73 dB, which is S9, and here on the display you can see S7 only, so there should be S9, but otherwise it has a pretty good receiver. Okay, this is another very interesting test. I'm going to test the preamp. Actually, the question if it's worth to turn the preamp on or not. Also, secondly, I would like to test the noise reduction, how it works with a very weak signal. I have connected again my signal generator, which is set to 132 dBm minus, which is far or deep below S1 unit. So let me turn the volume up and we'll see what is the difference. So here you can see or hear very weak signal, 1 kHz signal from the generator. I will set filter to the filter 2. Preamp off, preamp on, preamp off, on, off. So as you can see that when is the preamp off, we could really lost the signal. I hear it, it is still there, but it is almost not readable. And the signal is back. So definitely you see that the preamp is really good thing here in this radio and is a really big helper. And also I'm going to focus on this little audio spectrum scope. As you can see here, a little frequencies like 1000 Hertz, 2000 Hertz and 3000 Hertz. Currently you are listening 1000 Hertz signal. So if I increase the frequency to 2000 Hertz, it shows 2000 Hz. If I go to 3000 Hz, it is still there on 3000 Hz. So that's pretty cool. And voila! Nice. And here you can see how the filters works. This is filter 1. This is narrower filter 2. And even narrower filter 3. 1.8 kilohertz, 2.4 and 2.7. Here you can see my current version of my pre-production model of the 6200, which is MCU version 1, 2024 May 2901. This is Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango QRP.
Mike 0 Echo Tango is correct?
Again, Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango. Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango QRP.
Okay, Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango QRP is correct?
QSL 5x7. You are 5x7. 5x7.
Okay, thank you for the 5-7. You are 5-5-55. Thank you very much for the contact. 73. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you for QRP contact 73. Bye bye. And this is the wide FM band, so you can hear also the FM broadcast station on this transceiver. The coarse tuning is made by this knob here, so you can tune it by 100 kilohertz step. And fine tuning you can do with this tuning knob. You can also see the spectrum scope of this FM station here. And audio quality.
Teraz tie dôsledky už teraz vlastne tohto mixu, pretože človek mladý potrebuje sociálne kontakty na to, aby sa jednoducho rozvíjal a aby je
Okay, and now let me tune the airband. Well, I'm trying to listen also an airband on the 6200, but I found that airband on the 6200 is not really powerful, let's say, on this band. As you can hear here on the Guangsheng radio, I have here the original antenna and airband frequency 133.725, which is the Walmet station about 40-50 kilometers away from me, from the airport. I'm not able to catch this station here on the X6200, and I think I know the reason. You see there is the same frequency, but there is not even sign of this station. So you see that the RF gain is on 100, preamp is on, everything should be fine, but I don't copy anything on the same antenna. I think that I found the problem. Maybe it is not very good idea to listen on the built-in antenna on the radio because of the noise coming from the screen of the X6200. Let me show you. So this is the signal on the Guangsheng, and when I close the X62, signal overwhelming, the noise overwhelming signal. So I presume that this is maybe the problem. Why is the X6200 poor on the built-in antenna?
Yes, what's the question, Ferry? Your power, please, 10 whiskey. Call me with 10 whiskey, alright? Yes, 10 whiskeys in this moment, Ferry. 10 wax. 10 whiskeys. 100, yes, okay. Frank, thank you so much. 73, un abrazo, hasta mañana. Muchas gracias. Hasta mañana, Ferry 73, amigo. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, amigo. 73. Yankee Bravo 0 operator, looking at low power, no amplifier. 2. Echo Victor November. Stand by, please, stand by.
Okay friends, what do you think about this new improvement, the Xiegu 6200? I think when I'm looking on the quality of materials, construction and the features built in, it is really worth radio to use it on SOTA, POTA or any other portable activities. The price is set currently somewhere around 1,000 euros, so it's not definitely the cheapest radio in the market in the same class. There is also more expensive radios like ICOM 705, which has also 2 meters and 70 centimeters, so you have to decide which the radio is better for you, if you have some money for this radio or maybe not. But I'm very happy that I had an opportunity to test this radio and have it in my hands. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that it helped you. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you have some more questions, write it down in the comment section. 7-3 and have a nice day. All the links you will find also in the video description.